Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody here tonight, and I'd like to officially go ahead and call to order our Board of Supervisors meeting for November the 8th, 2023. And the first order of business we have with our PM meetings is the citizen forum, where we allow anyone to come and speak that wants to speak on anything that's not on the agenda tonight. We ask you to try to keep your comments 3 minutes or less, and give your name and the magisterial district that you live in. I have 3 that signed up tonight, and I'm going to call them first. First up is Russell Ferguson.
Good evening. I'm here again in reference to land in Jefferson. I have a home out in Jefferson area, and it seems as though there's this guy that had bought property that was owned.
Hold up, Mr. Ferguson, hold up 1 second. I think your mic is not working. Nicole is coming to try to fix it.
As I was saying, and I've been here, I guess maybe 4 or 5 times in reference to this property that this guy seemed to just keep adding a little more and a little more to his 1 acre. That's really probably wasn't 1 acre in the beginning, because of back in '52 they rerouted the road through there that took most of that front yard out of that house. And that property is entirely different from the farm property. And somehow or another he done used my father's name through y'all to get this property. And I'm not understanding what is going on, because the property is mine. And he continues to come over here and get land. From my calculation, between him and John, they've basically took about 30-some acres. And each time I come over here, I don't get no response from y'all, no answers, even though I think you, one of the guys that was with, I think Banks, that y'all said it must have been some kind of fraud. You know, I don't see no reason why I have to spend my money to go after somebody that's going through y'all. He didn't come through me to get this property. He went through the county here. So somebody need to do something about it. And I've come over several times, and each time, you know, this thing that I guess y'all's lawyer did, I mean, it don't have nothing to do with me. It's some deed that he drawed up, I guess. I don't know where that deed come from. That deed stopped with my brother and I. We own the property. It don't have nothing to do with my father. My father died back in '77. And my mother died in '84. In '84, I put my name on that property. So I don't understand what he calls himself doing through y'all. So you know, I'm puzzled about this whole mess. So I would appreciate if somebody would finally try to find out what's going on with it.
Okay, up next is Don Locke.
Hello, my name is Don Locke. I'm president of the board of State Climb, which is located downtown Culpeper over on East Locust Street. We operate an indoor rock climbing gym and aerial silk studio that is open 7 days a week to everybody in the community, regardless of ability to pay. Our mission is to promote physical activity, mental health through community involvement. And so we do that by one, having the gym open so that anybody can be involved. As I said, anybody regardless of ability to pay. We also reach out to the community, working with other groups such as SAFE and the C Center to try to reach out and bring in people who are least likely to be involved in physical activity and community action. And in this way, we hope to sort of really build a community within the gym that really represent the community outside the gym. We do what we do because physical activity is important for everybody, and the things we offer, rock climbing and aerial silks, are very good for both mental and physical health. And we also do what we do because there's huge disparities in who can access recreational opportunities. A gym like ours, anywhere else in the state, will cost pretty much around $30 for an individual to go in, so about $120 for a family of 4. This is out of reach for most people, so by offering people to be able to use the gym and provide for the community in other ways besides just financial contributions, but people can be involved by being there, having their presence, being supportive to their other community members. So I just wanted to introduce myself. I'm excited to be, I actually live in Jackson District in Rappahannock County. Our farm's right on the line, so we have some land in Culpeper, and we live over in Rappahannock. But my family got involved early on with the gym here and have loved the community, and so we've been spending a lot more time over here. My background's in nonprofits, and that's how they sort of roped me into being on the board over there. So, yeah, so I just wanted to introduce myself and say thank you.
Okay, well, next is Don Haight.
Good evening, members of the board. Appreciate the opportunity to speak. Don Haight, Stevensburg. Support Culpeper farms and their businesses. Support programs that help farmers to continue to farm. One government solution is the small-scale solar on 20 acres or less. This program supports the farmers with zero impact to surrounding properties. No new transmission lines like the Amazon site will cost. Small-scale solar is a smart and viable solution to help our farms. If Culpeper claims to be a farming community, then we need to help all the farmers in the community, not just a select few in Stevensburg. We need to help all farmers, the ones in Cedar Mountain as well as the ones in Catalpa. Only approve solar and data centers on existing industrial property with adequate infrastructure to support them. Board, it is time to be honest with the Culpeper residents. Tell us the real reason why you approved the Amazon site. Tell us the truth, because the Culpeper residents are finally finding out on their own. We are hearing that you were advised that you must approve the Amazon site because of national security reasons. Washington, D.C. contacted Culpeper and made this request. If this is true, it is finally starting to show its light. That's why this site was fast-tracked and approved within 5 weeks, which is unheard of. Not one board of supervisors asked the applicant a single question, not one. A board member rushed to make the motion and another rushed to second it. Now we know why the board didn't listen to over 30 residents or ask Amazon any questions. Are our board actually taking orders from outside sources? That's a good question that needs to be answered. We need transparency here in Culpeper. Washington, D.C. has its own set of problems, and they need to keep them. This isn't the first time our board has made irrational decisions and not listened to the Culpeper County residents. Does our board of supervisors have no desire to listen to reason, logic, and the residents of Culpeper County? It's obvious that the decision was made to approve the site prior to coming to the meeting and prior to listening to Culpeper County residents. This is why Culpeper residents believe, and this is what they are saying. If any of this is true, it is totally unacceptable. It's time for the Culpeper residents to ask our board to fully explain what the heck is going on. Was the approval of the Greenwood site also a direction of Washington, D.C.? These are all questions that need to be answered. Why is our board approving industrial sites in direct conflict of our comprehensive plan, while other counties reject industrial sites on zoned agricultural properties? Culpeper residents and staff have provided our board of supervisors with thousands of pages of documents showing the negative effects of industry to our pristine landscape. Residents of Culpeper, I urge you to ask questions and demand answers on a timely basis. Culpeper residents deserve answers, and we need to know the truth. Why did our board not ask for proffers? That's another question that needs to be answered. We need transparency here in Culpeper County, and always support Culpeper Farms and its community, and may God continue to bless Culpeper County and its residents. Thank you.
Okay, that's all that I have signed up. Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
My name is Margaret Campbell, and everybody knows my sister, but nobody knows me. But my concern is that I ask that there be a pause on some of these big projects, given the drought. If you've driven down 29 recently by the old country store, you've seen the Lake Pelham or whatever it's called now. And I just think we can use the water. Is a great concern. And I think that this needs to be factored in when, there's no water in town. Those of us who are on wells have no water, there's going to be an issue. So I just ask that you pause on some of these big projects with some unknowns.
Okay, is there anybody else that would like to come and speak tonight? Okay, if not, I'll go ahead and close the citizen forum and move into the agenda. Any additions or deletions to the agenda? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Okay, general county business. The board will hold a public hearing and will consider adoption of an amendment to Chapter 12 of the Culpeper County Code for technology zones. And I'll go ahead and turn this over to John Eggerston, our county attorney, county administrator. Sorry, John.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board, good evening. The first item that we're discussing tonight is a potential amendment to Chapter 12 of the County Code, which lays out the location of our technology zones. The first thing I would say, just as a reminder, I know the board knows this, but for the benefit of the public, is technology zones are zones that establish certain incentives for certain types of development. They are not zoning districts, so just to make that clear. But currently, the county has several technology zones. We have the McDevitt Drive Technology Zone, Elkwood Technology Zone, Lover's Lane Technology Zone, and Bragg's Corner Technology Zone. And what we are proposing tonight is to eliminate some of those zones and consolidate some to create just one single technology zone. The map that shows on the screen is primarily what is currently today the McDevitt Drive Technology Zone. That is shown in the green color. The blue color at the bottom portion of the map is what's known as the Red Ace property, and that is currently in the Lover's Lane Technology Zone. The two blue properties on the north end of the map would be new properties added to the technology zone, and the green area that's cross-hatched at the north part of the map would be current parts of the McDevitt Drive Technology Zone that would be removed. If this ordinance amendment is adopted tonight, what you see on the screen, inclusive of the green and the blue, would be the sole remaining areas of the county designated as technology zones. I think the primary benefit of doing something like this is that these zones are most attractive for data center development. This would consolidate that development in a concentrated area, which has the benefit of potentially reducing power lines and other needs and keeping data centers located in these areas. To be clear, the other technology zones that are being removed, which are also primarily zoned industrial, would still be zoned industrial. They can still be developed. Potentially, they can even still be developed as data centers, but they would not enjoy the incentives that we offer in the technology zone. So the idea here is for the county to incentivize data center development in the area where we most want to see it occur. With that, I know that Brian Rothamel is here. If you have any questions for him from the economic development side of things, but this is a county code amendment, requires a public hearing prior to the board's taking any action.
Thank you, John. Any questions for John or Brian before we open the public hearing? Okay, if not, we'll go ahead and open the public hearing for anyone that would like to come and speak on this issue. Yes, sir.
Good evening once again, Don Haight, Stevensburg. Now our board are proposing to delete all technology zones except for one to try to direct all data centers into one area. This isn't a solution because Amazon did not desire to be in a technology zone. It only proves that our board made a huge mistake in improving the Amazon site in the middle of farmland, which was earmarked for agriculture in the comprehensive plan. Simply put, one bad decision trying to correct the previous bad decision is another bad decision. Our board never did its homework and refused to ask any questions of Amazon about the transmission lines, none whatsoever. They simply approved the site at the expense of the Culpeper County residents. Removal of 3 technology zones could have a negative effect and deter other businesses that would have a positive impact on the community. It's a false sense of security and a shot in the dark with no real solution. It does not require data centers to be built on McDevitt Drive. Don't continue to throw stuff on the wall and see what sticks and hoping that something will work. An example, approving a data center does not knowing that where the transmission lines go is simply absurd. One board member actually said that they had no idea that the new data center lines will have to be made. Now you're asking us to allow you to approve this site. You can't continue to work in this manner. You have to do your homework. You have to get expert advice into making these decisions that affect the community. We wish you would start listening to us and educating yourself to be informed before you make decisions, because your bad decisions will affect Culpeper County residents for many generations to come. I would advise you to seek professional experience in those who do this for a living instead of just willy-nilly making decisions when we all know that this does not solve anything. This is just a wish. If you want to make some real change, it needs to be in the ordinance. If it's not law, it doesn't matter. You know, if you really want to make change, you really want to put data centers in a particular area, then approve laws that make sure that they are required to only be built in those areas. Look around at the other counties. Look what they're doing. They're making sound, educated, informed decisions and passing laws in their ordinance that require data centers to be in certain areas. You're just taking this out and hoping and wishing that they will go there. Most of you people here are business owners. I guarantee you, you would not make decisions like this for your business. I guarantee you, Brad would not put a seed in the ground and not put fertilizer in it and hoping that it grows. It just does not make sense. You have to make sound decisions that are educated to help the Culpeper County residents. That's all we're asking you to do, is to do your job. Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone else that would like to come and speak? Yes, ma'am.
Sarah Parmalee, Piedmont Environmental Council. Thank you for the opportunity to speak. The Technology Zone Ordinance, though intended to bring a diverse suite of technology-based industries to Culpeper in recent years, has really only attracted one industry, which is data centers. To date, Culpeper has approved approximately 7.3 million square feet and over 1,500 megawatts of energy demand within the McDevitt Drive and Lovers Lane technology zones. We applaud the board for recognizing that the application of the technology zone incentives has strayed from the intended use and for taking steps to maintain a diverse portfolio of industry as well as to limit the sprawl of the infrastructure associated with data centers by reducing the area included in the technology zones. These incentives have proven to be an enticing carrot to draw the data center industry to a specific area, but once this area has been developed, Culpeper may be at risk of further data center sprawl, especially once the transmission infrastructure has been upgraded to meet the energy demand. This risk includes the consolidation and redevelopment of existing industrial properties, which we have already seen happen in Loudoun and Prince William counties. And because data centers are a by right use in all industrially zoned lands, this redevelopment may not require board approval. We encourage the board to continue to act proactively and adopt a use-specific ordinance for data centers as has been done with utility-scale solar. We also encourage the board to require a special or conditional use permit for data centers on all industrial land so that redevelopment cannot occur removed from the public process and without board approval. We hope you will consider this recommendation in addition to approving this reduction to the incentive area. Thank you.
Okay, anyone else? Yes, ma'am.
Margaret Campbell, Stevensburg, and my concern is the property adjacent to us. And I think that it's a great concern having, not delineated, when you have technology zones with farmland right adjacent to them. I mean, it's nice having a road or something, but my concern is the one that's right adjacent to us. And I'm not sure when it was actually put in, right on the corner of 522. I'm done. I'm finished, so that's it.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, if not, I'm going to close the public hearing and open it up for discussion or a motion.
I just do want to add one comment. The other thing that reducing these technology zones just down to McDevitt Drive also applies to the 75-foot height restrictions that were put in place recently, that anything outside of this technology zone would still have to adhere to the 45-foot and light industrial. So that is another piece of information for the possible expansion and sprawl outside of these technology zones to kind of hinder that as well. If no one else has any other comments, I will move to approve the revision, approve the adoption of the amendment to Chapter 12 of the Culpeper County Code Technology Zones.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, like sign. Okay. Okay, moving on. The board will hold a public hearing and will consider adoption of increased tipping fees at the Laurel Valley Solid Waste Transfer Station. John.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Tonight, we've advertised for a public hearing to consider an increase in our tipping fees at the transfer station. Earlier today, the board approved a new contract for the hauling services at our solid waste transfer station, which have increased substantially. The proposed fee is an increase to $67.50 per ton. Mr. Paul Howard is here and could probably elaborate further or answer any detailed questions, but that's the bottom line, is the fee would go up to $67.50 per ton, and that's from the current rate of $57.75.
Okay. Does the board want Paul to come up to address the board? Okay. All right, any more comments or questions then before I open the public hearing?
Real quick, just how we got there. So the way that we got there is not what we did historically, where historically we looked at our cost of the transfer station and tried to cover costs. In this case, there was a significant escalation in expenses, but there are reasons that we want prices to be somewhat reasonable. Ideally, we need to have the transfer station used rather than people taking other alternatives. On the other hand, we don't want those from outside counties or other areas taking advantage of our prices being lower than what would be elsewhere. So we were constrained by both sides. So we looked at surrounding localities and decided to have the rate that would not encourage outside expenditure that would be covered by the taxpayer, but still would be as minimum as possible relative to the user, to encourage use of the transfer station. And when going across various counties and looking at that, we came up with the $67.50. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Underwood. Any other comments? Okay, go ahead and open the public hearing for anyone that would like to come and speak. Okay, seeing none, I'm going to close the public hearing. Open it up for discussion or a motion.
Move to approve the new rate.
I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? Well,
We're quick.
I'll take that as a compliment, Mr. Rosenberg. All right, we have a motion and a second. Any further discussion? All in favor of the motion signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, like sign. Okay, any other comments from board members before we adjourn? Entertain a motion to adjourn.
Well, first, very efficient meeting. Thank you. Move to adjourn.
We're adjourned.